Greetings and salutations, this is Wolffoetowtech coming directly to you through the power of the internet via the YouTube video sharing platform today. And there's multiple parts to this. First, I will go with the announcement, and I'll give a quick little rundown on my predictions. Not a really simple short list of predictions. I want to keep this video rolling, and then I'm going to go and talk about the rumor of what is going to be in the Nintendo Direct, okay? And let's start with the basic information. The Nintendo Direct will be today. It will be at 4 p.m. U.S. Central Time, which is my time zone. That's down the center strip of the United States. And it will be info basically leaning towards the next few games coming out for the Nintendo Switch. And it'll be roughly 35 minutes long, and it will be there'll be a large section in it for Fire Emblem: The Three Houses. Now, expanding from that into the predictions part, that's number 2 on this one here. There'll probably be more than just what was just listed. There will most likely be a section on Yoshi's Crafted World as well, and a few other games that will pop up within the next 4 months from when the Nintendo Direct pops out and moving forward. I will also say that there will be a section on the Super NES or Super NES, if you want to be super lazy and quick about it, section announcing the first few games for that. It's always nice. There was a Nintendo, there was a maintenance, Nintendo Switch maintenance for all the sections, the 11th and the 12th, the day before yesterday, and then yesterday, and usually that happens when there's a bunch of stuff that's coming up. So either they were going to implement a new set of features in an update, or they're going to add something that's going to use up more of the resources. So I'm thinking it's gonna be Super NES is classic Super NES games, and there probably is gonna be like 8 or 12 of them, you know, right off the bat. There was 22 in the data mine, but there'll probably be just like 8 or 22, 8 to 12. And obviously you're going to get a Mario in there, you're going to get a Mega Man X, and you're going to get a Donkey Kong Country, and you'll get a few others flicked in there. Probably the easy bet we're probably going to get Super Mario World. We're probably going to get Super Mario Kart. We're probably going to get Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I'm using this as a guide. We're probably going to get F-Zero or Mario Kart for the Super NES. We might get Punch-Out. We might get Pilot Wings as well. We might get a few other games tossed in there. There might be a few more games that were not on the Super NES Classic Edition that'll be on there, just like with the Switch Online. It's nice. I would like them to also do in the future, the Game Boy as a Switch Online service as well. But that's about it. Going on from there, as I said, I said that we will have. We'll have Yoshi's Crafted World, and we'll have the Super NES. We might have some update on Pikmin 4, because Pikmin 4 is supposed to be coming out in the near future. That might be that's the back end. That's potentially the back end of the Nintendo Direct as time runs on. We will probably have updates, as I said, about Splatoon 2 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. You toss a few third-party games in there, some randos, small games, and then you roll from there. And depending on how they want to format this, because Nintendo does have this habit now of spending 10 minutes just on a single game. But it's usually a really big game like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or something else like that. Now this is going into. I notice I kept my prediction sections short because Nintendo is a little crazy and they like to do all kinds of shit. So, oh yeah, Animal Crossing. We should get some kind of news about Animal Crossing. If anything, it just be mentioned along with Pikmin 4 as a later or in the year thing. You know, there's that 3-4 months, and then they throw in like 2 or 3 games that are just after that in the announcement. They don't usually put a lot of them in. They're not Sony. They're not telling you about a game that's coming out 2 years in the future. They're going to tell you about a game that's coming out. There'll probably also be a few games, it's like Final Fantasy VII or something else like that opens. It's released now. So there we go. Now let's go on to the leak rumor. This is part 3. There's this leak that's going around. Really long list of that was released. First and foremost, there's a few issues with this leak. First of all, it says 45 minutes. It's a 45-minute long presentation. This is supposed to be. This is 35 minutes long. It was supposed to be for the 14th. Nintendo might have moved it up, might not moved it up because they saw the leak. You can try to beat the leak going around the world, but that's it. And there's a lot of other stuff in it. But let's go through this leak here. First, it says it starts off with a new Legend of Zelda game. First and foremost, Nintendo has stated recently, I'm going to give my opinion on each one of these as it goes along. And also, the part of it on top of that, it says also going to be a new Legend of Zelda Untitled new 2D Zelda game coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm gonna, as I said, give my thoughts on these as we go along. Nintendo has various people within Nintendo have stated that Nintendo is going to go ahead and try to shift towards trying to get a Zelda game out almost every year. That's probably going to be some remakes mixed in between some new ones. So we're going to get a new Zelda 2D game. I love 2D Zeldas. I have a bigger love of them over the 3D ones. So I'd be super stoked about that. And I really do love the 2D Zeldas. I'm going to be super stoked about that one. Be quite honest. If I see a new Zelda, 2D Zelda top-down, I'm going to really love the crap out of that one. It's just going to be amazing. I'm going to play it all the time. I might even play the first few dungeons for the channel. And then it goes on to Nintendo 3D's headlines with a little notation, nothing special. So probably a bunch of small third-party games, some indies. And then, as I said, that's normal with the Nintendo Direct. You get a few of those thrown in where it just flashes up what's coming up in the next few weeks or days. The next 3 months. Just a quick rundown of the game, a little mini trailer and release date. And then we're gonna get Metroid Prime Trilogy is coming to the Nintendo Switch April 2019. That is cool in itself. I was never a super big fan of the Metroid Prime franchise, or any Metroid for that matter. I just never got into them. And then it says we're going to get a Pikmin trilogy announced, containing all DLC and Pikmin short movies, April 2019. First and foremost, I'm going to take the Metroid Prime trilogy and the trilogy together here on this. I don't think that is likely. I'm thinking it's one or the other. First and foremost, that is like the first flag when it comes to this leak or rumored Nintendo Direct. It kind of catches me is that it says Metroid Prime Trilogy and then there's a Pikmin trilogy. Usually that stuff doesn't happen all at once. Nintendo tries to stick a trilogy here, a small collection here, and a small collection over there, but they don't put them next to each other. Nintendo tries to plan out their releases just so they don't end up with a bunch of really big games piled together or collections piled together. So that's literally like my first red flag. This Nintendo Direct is I'm reading my list. This Nintendo Direct may not be, this leak here might not be true. Not to mention, that is my first signal before the actual information, you know, the 35-45 minute discrepancy and a few other things. And then we can continue on to the Nintendo Labo 4th Earth package Toy Gun, March 2019. That seems reasonably possible to happen. So I'm not so entirely shocked that could happen. And then we get a Super Mario Maker 2 Summer 2019. Very interested in that indeed. That is a good probability, although I would have much rather a 2D Legend of Zelda Maker myself. I would have much rather a 2D Legend of Zelda Maker, or maybe a Metroid Maker. A 2D Metroid Maker, that would be also a good one as well. And then we get Netflix, available now. That is a good probability in itself. I do agree with it as well. And then the next point is Splatoon 2 final updates, March 2019. That is reasonably possible. As I said before with my predictions, I do see that them throwing up something about the next update or something like that, or new weapons or something like that. The last few updates, them just trying to like point towards the end point on Splatoon 2. By the way, 2019 is supposed to be the last year of updates. March is probably around the most likely point in which it's the Splatfest will end, okay? And then we get Town from Game Freak, Summer 2019. I don't know if it's going to be that close. Might be. But to say that would be a good possibility. And then we get a section on Fire Emblem Three Houses, June 2019. I was never a big fan of Fire Emblem, but okay. And then we get Luigi's Mansion. And 3, July 2019. That is neat in itself, but I don't know if it's going to be packed to that. They're noting there's a lot of really big games here packed together. They're in the April, March, June, July area. Nintendo doesn't pack them that tight normally, so there's some red flags right there. Then there is Super Nintendo, Super NES, SNES, Super Nintendo games available now for the Nintendo Switch Online service. There's a bonus. As I said, I'm predicting that is highly likely. There was a data mine recently, as I said, but a little bit of ways back, like about a list of Nintendo Super Nintendo games being released for the system. They just show up in the data listing for this, in the listing for the system. So high likelihood of that. And then there's Box Boy, which is a neat little franchise by HAL Laboratories, which is a subsidiary of Nintendo now. That is coming out in the near future. It's places it fall 2019. As I said, there's always a few of those outside the 3 or 4 month window games, and that's what they did. They placed that there in this little leak here. And then on to the next point is Final Fantasy VII, available now. That is a good probability. It will most likely be released. It's going to be announced like it's going to be available now, but I do not know if it's going to be this Nintendo Direct. I personally think there's a good chance it might be, say, like E3. But there's a fairly high enough. There's a high enough likelihood that will be the case. And then there will be a Pokemon Direct announcement by Tezuka Isura next week. So they're in this Nintendo Direct, they're going to tell you, hey, next week we'll have a Pokemon Direct. And then the next point after that is Animal Crossing 2019. Yet again, that's the nebulous outside of these next 3-4 months. I would also retroactively throw that into my predictions list right there. I do say that we will get there's a high potentiality of a Animal Crossing Direct. That would also be another rotation game for the channel. I will play that daily, and I'm gonna upload a video daily of me goofing around in the town for 15 minutes or 15 minutes, yeah. And then we go on to the HMK. Shits his pants with shits bricks so fast he flies to the moon section here. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 will be available May 2019. I'm quite sure when that comes up in the Nintendo Direct, he's gonna like kind of shit like that. So I've never been a fan of I've never been a particularly big fan of YouTubers who just, oh my god, please, thank you, good I hate Nintendo and Square Enix or whichever Watson's company is related to their neurological workup. HMK is kind of in that strange area where he kind of slides between. He's so over top. You have to either wonder if he's just naturally high strung up like that. I'm a high strung person myself, but I just don't get worked up that quickly. He gets worked up so quickly and overexcited that it's literally in that range where it goes from being a realistic, oh my god, I'm excited, wow, to he's acting. And he's pretty close into that it's possibly acting, but he's just really rambunctious about that stuff. And then another announcement, the next point is Kingdom Hearts 2.8 2019. Yeah. So he's gonna be just like freaking out, and then he's gonna freak out again about that. As I said, it kind of is on that edge between him being just so wound up or just simply acting. He's in that that gray zone between the two, and he's pretty darn close to the acting territory. Then there is going to be next point is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate new modes and Joker first look for March 2019. So we're getting really March, April heavy on the updates and new games, which is not entirely normal. Well, there's usually some stuff in there, but it's not usually this thick. And then in the next point is Edric from Dragon Quest will be announced for Smash Bros. Ultimate in the Fighters Battle. This is a rumor that's been popping around quite a bit as well. There's been rumors, and then someone from the Square Enix staff and other staffs will have kind of winked, nodded that there might be something going that way. And then the next point is Spiral Reignited for August 2019, which is neat in itself. And then there's going to be many more announcements. Third-party indie unexpected game. And then at the end, it will close out with Pikmin 4. We see a big open world. And I do say that is a good probability of that. Nintendo was hiring and trying to consider to get into the more open world type games. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was one of those games, as well as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of them, and as well as Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I say this Nintendo Direct leak is it's suspicious. There's there's a few flags in here that kind of look a little off. The density of it is a little too thick. There's too many trilogies and too many big games clumped together. Nintendo doesn't typically like to clump their big games together. They like to spread them out a little bit. It's so this is a little suspicious. There's a few updates in here that I could reasonably see happening. There's actually quite a lot of stuff, but I almost like this is like two Nintendo Directs crammed together as far as big games are concerned. All the small small third-party games probably thrown in. Yeah, this is more like two Nintendo Directs as far as big games are concerned, crammed together, and there would be way more indie showcases and third-party showcases in here. There's two of them. So there's one towards the beginning and there's one towards the end, and that's not unusual for Nintendo. So please consider posting down below what you think is most likely to be in the Nintendo Direct if you happen to see this video before the Nintendo Direct happens. Or type down whatever games you are most excited in the Nintendo Direct after you've seen it and then seen this video. Alright, thank you very much for stopping by. It's really early in the morning and I'm kind of sleepy, but I'll see you next time, and I'll probably do a video on the Nintendo Direct itself. So stay tuned for that. So long, and thank you for all the fish.